Hey, what's going on there, Joe's Pepper House members? Today we're going to do a build. And today's build is going to be a DWC system. It's a deep water culture. And we're going to build this from a 12-gallon tote that I bought from Menards. So stay tuned because this will be a detailed step-by-step on how to build this unit. Also, I will leave links in the description of the parts that I've bought. Most of the parts you guys should have laying around your house as far as the hand tools and the tools that's required. But I'll go ahead and post them in the description and up in the actual video so you can pause it at any time if you'd like to research that part. Hey guys, I hope you enjoy the show. Please subscribe, like this video. Okay everybody, what you're going to need is a 6-inch net pot. This is designed for a 5-gallon bucket. You'll need your 12-gallon tote. And this one here I got at Menards. It was like $8 or something like that. I bought 2 of these. I'm going to build one for you guys today. You'll need your air stone. I'm sure any air stone will work, but I have these laying around. I'm going to use one of these in this bucket, and this air stone is 2 inches by 12 inches long. Puts out a lot of bubbles. Need at least a 15-watt pump just for this stone alone, so keep that in mind. Also, you'll need some form of a handsaw or jigsaw, whatever you may use. I use this handsaw. It has a wood cutting blade on it. I would recommend a metal cutting blade. You'll need a pair of scissors. You'll need a utility knife. You'll need a 1/2-inch elbow. You'll need a 1/2-inch grommet. You can use either a 13/16 wood cutting blade or paddle blade, whatever you want to call this. And I would recommend, if you're going to drill this in, drill it in forward and then put the drill in reverse. For example, when you go to drill your hole, put it in reverse, gives you a cleaner cut. Or you can spend a little bit of money. I mean, you could probably get them cheaper, but I found this on Amazon for 20 bucks. And it's a 13/16. I guess it's designed for cutting through stainless steel. But let me tell you, this thing cuts a hole clean every time. I haven't had one hole fail due to that bit. Of course, you'll need your drill. You'll need one of these circle cutters, which I'll show you how to use that in a little bit, or at least how I do it. You need a Sharpie, 1/4-inch drill bit. Nothing fancy, just any kind of a 1/4-inch drill bit. Of course, you'll need your air line. And then you'll need some 1/2-inch tubing. Tape measure is optional. I'm just going to show you what I'm going to use for that. You're also going to need some form of a piece of paper because we're going to be tracing out this, and I'm going to show you how to find the center so we can line this up on the top of the tote. Now this part of the build, I'm going to show you what I had done off camera. I do apologize for not showing you, but it's very simple to do. These are 2 of the exact same net cups here. And as you can see, they're both from the bucket. Where you see this lip here, where it snaps into a bucket. We'll see how smooth it is here. Well, I took my knife here, and all I did was cut out this ring right here. See this big fat part of the ring? Because I originally was going to use my 27-gallon totes with this, and having these 2 next to each other on a 27-gallon tote, they won't line up. I had to cut that lip off. Here's my 6-inch net cups. They're for the buckets. Now, I'll show you guys something real quick. Now, with these totes like this, you see how those fit? Well, that's because over here, if you guys seen, I cut the rings off. So as you can see in one of these bucket lids, I just cut around that ring right there. Because otherwise, if you try to take these and put them together, they're going to be too big and they're going to overlap. Okay, see? So like if I put it here, they're going to overlap right here. So I cut them rings off and they seem to work out really good like that. But your measurements are going to be a little different by probably, I would say, 1/4-inch, or something like that. What I done is I just cut this ring out, and this is what we have here. Like I said, just optional. Okay guys, now what you want to do is take your Sharpie after you cut your ring out, or if you decide you want to leave it on. I just think it's a little close to these edges here when you leave that lip on. That's why I cut it off. I mean, you can even use a standard net cup too. You don't, without the bucket lid, but this is the way I like it. I can still make my hole nice and tight and just have plenty of room for overhang. This is just what I have on hand. You guys could do it however you like. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my Sharpie and I'm going to trace around this whole outer edge. Okay, as you can see, I went ahead and traced. You can see my Sharpie mark there. Got it pretty well centered, the best that I could. Okay, at this point, what you want to do, set it on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be this cardboard paper. I mean, this is just what I had laying around the house. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and trace a circle on this cardboard paper. Okay, now that we have our circle traced, now you can, if you want to make a couple of these, you don't really need to. You can use one as your jig to find your center. This is what I'm about to show you. But I'm not going to be using this piece of paper. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cut out with the scissors. All right, everybody, we have the circle cut out. Now I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with this piece of paper. Well, I'm one-handed, so I'm going to have to just show you. What we're going to do is we're going to fold this in half. You're going to this in half. Let me go ahead and straighten out. And then you're going to fold it in half again. So you're just going to bring it back over to itself and smash it down. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our scissors and I'm just going to snip the very tip of this. Did you guys catch that? You just fold it in half, fold it again in half. And then this very tip right here, we're going to cut that off and it's going to give us our center mark to our hole. Okay, as you can see, I went ahead and snipped the hole there. So now when we open this back up, we now have our center hole. So what I'm going to do is just straighten this out a little bit. There we go. And what you want to do is line this up with the hole that you traced with your neck pot, and then take your Sharpie, and then we're going to mark a dot for our center point. Okay, I went ahead and put a dot in the middle of that center point, and there you have it. There's your center. Now we're going to go to that circle cutter, and I'm going to show you how to use that. Well, I'll tell you what, I've had this tool for probably 20 years, and you can use it for drywall, for cutting out circle light boxes, or just all kinds of things you could do with it. And what I had done is took a tape measure, because it's a 6-inch round net pot and it measures pretty close to exactly that. All you want to do is take your tape measure, or unless you have a similar device that shows it in inches or whatnot, but you just want to measure 3 inches from the cutting wheel that's here. As you can see, it's just got a blade here. That's a cutting wheel. And then here's your point where you're going to put this in your center point here. But just measure, I know it's got numbers here, but they're not in inches. So I just took my tape measure and measured from this point here to the blade 3 inches, which when we cut the circle out, it'll be a total of 6 inches. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to set and push down into the center until this blade touches this box. And all I'm going to do is spin this tool around. It's not going to cut the hole for you, but it's going to mark it. And that's when we're going to use our handsaw to finish up this job. So let me go ahead and put that circle cutter on there, and let me get it scored, and I'll be right back. Okay, I went ahead and pushed that sharp pointy end into the bucket. I just pushed, or into the lid, and it pushed right through like nothing. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and push down, and let's see if we can get a marks out of this thing. So all you want to do is just give it enough pressure so it can leave a mark. And as you can see, if you look closely, see that thin line right there? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and finish up this. It only takes about maybe 20 seconds, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm now finished up. We're going around, getting my mark. All right, that's the end of this tool here. So we're going to pop this out. Okay, I grabbed the Sharpie, and all you want to do here, so you can see it better, is just trace around the circles that you did. Okay, I'll be right back when I finish this. All right, there you have it. Now, when we cut this line out, our net pot will fit perfectly on the inside of this. Won't have barely any leaks, and you're also protected because you got that extra flap from the bucket lid of the net pot. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna grab our handsaw or whatever you want to use to cut it. I'm not sure. This stuff's pretty thick. I don't know if a utility knife would work. you know, to cut that out. It might, I don't know. I've just been using this handsaw. And like, again, I would prefer a metal cutting blade. I'm going to go ahead and try this out. And also, grab your paddle bit or a 13/16 drill bit, or you don't even have to have that, just as long as it's wide enough for this. I like to minimize the tools that I use. So we're going to go ahead and use this here. I'm going to start my hole right here so my saw blade could fit inside. Okay, so what you want to do is kind of line it up to where the edge of this bit right here is just on the inside of your circle. I'll show you that right here. You don't have to be perfect, but that looks pretty good. So all you got to do is push down. And like I said, you don't have to put this in reverse or nothing. Just go ahead and start drilling. And that's it. Got yourself a nice clean hole to start. Then what you're going to do is run your saw in here, and you're just going to cut away all the way around this circle. Okay guys, it's not the best angle here, but I'm going to try to show you the best I can on how I do this. So just take and just start cutting away. Now like I said, a metal cutting blade would be a lot easier. Okay, like you can see, we got our hole cut out. What I'm going to do is take my razor blade and clean up these edges here, and then we'll fit in our net pot. And this is all I'm going to do is run my razor blade across here, just kind of clean up the edges. What you want to do is just, you can see that, just come around like this. You preferably want a sharp knife. I don't know if you guys can see this too well. Just kind of go around and clean them up. You guys can see somewhere I had a booger right here. See where I overcut right there? Not a big deal, because you got all this flap here. Now that's the first time I made a mistake, but it does happen. You can come off course. Just be careful. I went a little bit fast with this, but it's fine. But here guys, this is just how I do it. All right guys, that was pretty simple. You just take your razor blade, just clean up your burrs right there. And like I said, if you go over on your cut like I did over here, it's not a big deal. Go ahead and get it cut out, and you can shape this hole with your razor blade if you like as well. I wouldn't recommend holding the razor blade in your hand by itself. I would definitely have some form of a utility knife for that project, for this project. And here we go. Let's go ahead and place our net cup in. There you go. We are centered. You see both sides. Perfect fit. No play. No nothing. Okay, for those that have been following me, yes, I did remove that 27-gallon tote that I had the 2 net pots in. And the reason for that is because the plants, I believe, were too close together, and I wanted more spacing, so I decided to go with these 12-gallon totes. And here's the one that we just started on. This one here I still have to do. But over here, what we're going to do, we're going to drill a 13/16 hole down here for our 1/2-inch grommet, and we're going to run a sight glass up to here. I'd run it up the side and let this, you know, clip the hose up in there, but I don't want the light going down in there, even though it's a blue hose. I just don't want any part of algae whatsoever. I'm going to run the hose up here. I'm going to run it up behind this latch. That way no light could get in, and then this is actually covering it when it's zipped up, so no light will get to that. And then if I need to look, I just pull back, and there will be my sight tube. Now again, you can use a hole saw, you can use a 13/16 paddle bit, or you can use what I recommend is this bit right here. So I'm going to go ahead. You want to come in about 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch above the bottom. I'm just going to come a hair above this lip here. That's where I'm going to drill my hole right there. Let's bring it down to about here. It looks pretty good right there. And we have a perfect hole. And there you have it. Now we're going to go ahead and push in our rubber grommet. Just rub your hands on the inside. If there's not going to be any burrs because of that drill bit that I use, but in some cases you'll need to get a razor blade and trim that out in here. Like I said, that's why I spend a little bit of money to get that bit, because it drills a perfect hole. So let's go ahead and install our grommet. You want to open up your lid. You want to make sure that you're sealed on all the edges, all the way around, inside and out. So as you can see here, we are sealed all the way around. Okay guys, let's go ahead and install the 90-degree elbow. This is a 1/2-inch barb fitting. Now to make it easier, if you wet this, but in my case, it's not necessary. Just want to give you guys a look at how it's going to be before we install the 1/2-inch tubing. There you go. So now what we're going to do is get our length for our tubing, and we're going to run it to where it just sits up in there. You don't have to worry about it falling over. We're not going to put any mounts. We're not drilling any extra holes here. No, nothing. We're just going to take that thick tubing and run it up till it tucks in up under that handle. And it'll still give you room to open the lid. Okay, a couple ways that we could do this is take your tape measure, and keep in mind on this tote that I bought from Menards, this lip here goes all the way up in, and it comes at the top of this part right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. It does go under this here lip there. So we could do it one of two ways. We could just go ahead and get our hose and line it up, or we can measure it. You want to come to the bottom of your barb there and just get an estimate. And I'm going to say I'm going to cut this 10 inches. Okay, so what we're going to do is take our hose. I can measure it 10 inches and cut it, or I could pre-install it in here and run it down this barb and then run up what I need and just cut to the top. However you guys want to do it. Now what you want to do is just take your scissors, and we're just going to go ahead and cut this tube off. Just like that. And there you have it. I'm going to go ahead and pull this piece back out. I'm going to run my hose in here. I'm going to push it all the way to the bottom. We'll just pass the second barb there. And when you line this up, turn your hose to where it faces the inside, so the pressure will help straighten this hose out. I'm going to go ahead and reinstall this and see if we went too far. Yep, went a little too far. Okay, so I'm just going to start trimming. All right, that looks good. In time, this hose will straighten out. But either way, you guys see what I'm doing. So now this way here, all you got to do when you want to do your water change, or if you don't want to lift this up, so you just have to pull this out, tilt it over, and let all the water drain out. And it should not leak here, but we'll do a test on that here soon. Now we got to figure out what we want to do with our air line. So let's go ahead and place our tote back in here. And here I'd like to show you guys my air compressor setup. This is a 950 gallon per hour pump. Just a small pump right there. Right now I just got it suspended to the top there, running down with these straps. This is all I had for now. I don't have any one-way check valves. That's why I elevated my pump higher than what the containers are. So in case that pump does fill, water cannot backfeed into the pump, causing maybe an electrical short or whatnot. They come with a short hose that's about maybe 9-10 inches long. And then it has the valves here, your adjustable. So this thing would have been hanging about right here. I bought some hose and extended it down to here. And then I want to branch off of those into each container. Okay, before I do that, I want to go ahead and place my stone inside this tote and see exactly where I'm going to want it. That's where I'm going to put it. So I'm actually thinking about coming through the back side here with the hose and with the airline, because I'm just going to be running right here. If you guys look real quick, and as you can see, this is where my inlet is. I'm thinking I'm going to come in either from this side. And also, if you guys are wondering, over here, here's where your 90 barb starts to come out here. We'll do a water test in this here after a while. But for now, I want to figure out where I want to run my airline. I think the best is going to be coming in from the sides, from over here. And then if I ever needed to change it for a different setup, I could buy a 1/4 inch plug, plug it up, drill another hole in case I want to rearrange or do something else. All right, everybody, I went ahead and installed my 1/4 inch drill bit. And being that my inlet is right here, now remember, this is our front where we installed our grommet and our 90-degree elbow. And I'm going to have this on the opposite end because my air valves are towards the back there. You want the shortest lines possible. And the reason why I ran that long hose there down, that thicker hose, is just so there's less restriction. Because you start coming off about right to that point and then go with the 1/4 inch line, you're going to start restricting your air. That's why I wanted the most possible. So here, I'm gonna go ahead and drill my hole on this back corner right here. I'm gonna go ahead and right there is where I'm gonna drill that hole for that air line. All right, everybody, here's our side tube. I'm gonna come over here to this corner. Let's go ahead and get our hole drilled. I'm gonna come in about right. That looks pretty good right about there. All right. Now I went ahead and I had a spare piece of hose here, so you guys can see. So what I have here is a spare cut of hose that I had laying around. This is 1/4 inch hose. I prefer using the black tubing, just so no light could possibly get in there at all. And then you just want a little bit of a snug fit, but it doesn't pinch the line. Then you just want to run your hose on the inside. I'll go ahead and hook it up here. Now I'm going to show you guys how this sits in here. So here's our side tube side here. Okay. Here's our air stone. It's going to place it right there in the center. And here's our air line coming up through here where we just drilled that hole. And it comes out. I'm going to go ahead and place this back in here. Okay, I got these lights hooked up to a timer and that's why my light went out, but that's okay. We can still work with this. Okay, so here is what it's going to look like inside the tent. Here's our cutout here. And I'm just going to go ahead and hook it up right to here. I'm not going to do this now. I'm going to also trim off any extra hose that I may not need. Like I said, this is a spare cut I had from testing. So it looks like it works good, so I don't have to bust into my new roll. But other than that, I'm going to go ahead and clean this out with some soapy water, like maybe some mild dish detergent. Get this all cleaned out. And we are going to fill this thing up with water and check for leaks. All right, everybody, I went ahead and dumped all the shavings out. I rinsed and cleaned this with mild detergent soap, and I installed the air stone back in. I'm just running the hose just right to here. And what we're going to do is take this 5-gallon bucket full of water. And if those don't know, if you buy your buckets from Walmart, this line right here is your 5-gallon mark. So let's go ahead and pour this content into here and let's check for leaks. And once we get the water right up just a hair above the net pot, I'll show you that here in a bit, we will go ahead and mark our tube. Go ahead and check for leaks. No leaks. As you can see, our water line is up to this point right now. Let's say we're not quite halfway. That's 5 gallons. What I'm going to do is go ahead and install the lid, and let's see how close we are to the bottom of our net cup. All right, guys, there's 5 gallons of water in there. Let's see how deep we are. And it doesn't looks like we're about, I'd say, a couple inches below this net cup. So I want to add in another gallon of water and see where we're at. Okay, so what I have here is a 1-gallon pitcher. It's marked on this container where the 1-gallon mark is. And all I want to do is go ahead and slowly pour in the center here until we get right to the bottom of that net cup. Okay, guys, that was about a half a gallon that I had added. So we're at 5.5 gallons of water. And as you can see, it's about a ½ inch to the bottom of this net cup. I'm going to go ahead and continue pouring the rest of this water in because we want to get it for our seedlings. I want to get this about maybe a 1/4 inch or right just to the bottom of that net cup. So let's see what this ½ a gallon will do. Okay, guys, there's 6 whole gallons. And as you can see, it's right there. It is right there to the bottom of the net cup. Now, what do you guys think? Now, I'm a first-time grower. If I push down on the lid a little bit, as you can see, it's right there at the bottom. Now, that should be enough with that big air stone that we have inside here to raise them bubbles to hit the hydroton to get to the rock. I think we're going to be fine there. So I'm going to call it at 6 gallons of water. Let's go ahead and check for leaks. And as you can see, we are bone dry. So now what we want to do is take our magic marker and mark this water level. And we will know that that is for our seedling. Now, once the roots get into the water, because our rock wool is going to be up here. But once all the roots get through this, I'm assuming that I'm going to take out a ½ a gallon of this water, and that'll leave a little bit of space between the roots, and so we get, I guess, that oxygen in between there. All right, everybody, we've been sitting now for about 10 minutes because I wanted that air stone to soak up the water. So now I'm going to come over here and hook it up to my air compressor. Well, what I'm going to do first is figure out, I'm going to get all the slack out that what I don't need here. So I'm just going to take off about this much. Okay. Go ahead and plug it in. I'm going to turn this valve off. All these valves are going to be turned off. And remember, you can always regulate the air pressure coming from these stones. So I'm just going to have one going for right now. Let me go ahead and start the air compressor. And as you can see, it's pretty quiet. Well, you probably hear the one that's in this tent here. Which this is a bigger, much bigger compressor. So yeah, naturally it's going to be a little louder. But that's okay, I can handle that. So let's go over here. All right, let's come over here and show you guys the bubbling action we got going on. Now that's some serious bubbling going on there. I think the plants are going to be very happy in that. Let's go ahead and pop the lid off. I can show you a little bit more here. Okay, it looks like our stone has moved. I'll go ahead and pull it back over. Right about there. Okay guys, what do you think about that? Should be plenty of bubbles. I think it'll be very happy in this environment. So now what I would normally do, that being that this is my tap water, from my, or city water I should say, I would let this bubble, I'll let both of them go for 24 hours from what I'm reading on, and that'll take out any chlorine that's in there, and then I'll go ahead and add my Flora solution along with, and then go ahead and pH balance the water to 5.8 to 6.0. Okay guys, there you have it. Oh, I forgot one step. We'll grab our magic marker. We're going to come in here. Where are we at? Right here. And then I'm going to put a line right across here. One second. I don't know if you guys can see that. Okay. So that would be our water level. So I don't have to fill up a 5-gallon bucket and another, you know, half a gallon or 1 gallon when I decide to. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section. Hey guys, you guys have a great day, and we'll see you on the next one. All right. Like I said, I may go ahead and put aluminum foil over this or some kind of a tape, but I don't think that's going to be necessary. I got enough reflecting on the side walls here that should help. Okay, let's drop our nut cup in. And there you have it. Took me approximately maybe 10 minutes to build. If you know, if you're not videoing or whatnot, it could take you 10 minutes. Take your time and it'll turn out very well. Okay guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get this one started. All I'm waiting for is the air stones. All right guys, as you can see, I'm just gonna go with 2 5-gallon DWCs. And this monster pump here is gonna be running, because the air stones I'm buying, they have 2 inlets, so there'll be 2 lines per bucket. I'm also gonna run 2 lines into this tent here, which is my 24 by 30 by 87 inch grow tent. And in here I have, like I showed you this before in other videos, but this here is my 10-inch net pot. It's a double bucket, so I get a little bit more root action going on. This here is only in there to straighten out the hose. There's nothing there. And then this was from General Hydroponics. Drip system. They're designed for the 10-inch net cups. I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot. I'm not going to use that clear hose. And I'll show you guys how I install this on another day. But yeah, there'll be a total of 3 air lines running to this. 2 for the air stones and then 1 for this piece here. All right, everybody, that's how I build a DWC, whether it's a 27-gallon tote or 12-gallon tote, even with the 5-gallon buckets. If you guys like to see a 5-gallon bucket build, I could do that for you as well. They're very simple to do. There's tons of videos on how to do this. This is the way I want to do it. And you guys keep in mind that I have never grown anything indoors I've grown a little bit outside, and I'm talking about one season that I had a small garden. It worked out great for lettuce, cabbage, and radishes and things like that, but I've never grown super hots or any kind of pepper, period. Not even sweet peppers or nothing. So this is all new to me. So if I could do it, you could do it. Guaranteed. It was that simple. You just got to have the proper tools. There are definitely cheaper ways of doing indoor growing. I mean, you could make them out of PVC without buying fancy equipment for like hanging lights. You could do all sorts of things. But this is the way I want to do it because I feel comfortable doing it. I like a little bit more of a professional look. I love building stuff, modifying things and all that. But hey guys, tell you what, if you learned anything today, please hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit that like button. Share this out to your friends.